I gotta say off the top, I owe Knicks Nation and the New York Knicks an apology. I greatly dismissed them and underestimated what they could do. I was like, yeah, I get it. They were probably the best or one of the best offensive rebound teams in the league. Why would they do it in this series, right? They were one of the best defensive teams in the league all year. No, but they're not going to be able to stop Donovan Mitchell. And surely, Darius Garland is going to be able to get his stuff off. Like, nah. And Evan Mobley is a young up-and-comer. They're not going to be able to switch their little guys onto him. And, Randall, even if he's been better at defense, he's still Julius Randle at the end of the day. And I'm just like, no, they're not going to be able to do this. And lo and behold, man, in this game, the Cavs, their season is on the line, Justin. And they are getting beaten and bruised on the board.
Just worked.
By Mitchell Robinson. Just
oh my God.
Absolutely destroyed on the board. They're the ones getting out in transition. They're the ones getting the second chance points, right? And of course, their all-star, well, he got snubbed from the all-star team, but their all-star new acquisition, Jalen Brunson, he absolutely controlled this entire game. He was everything Donovan Mitchell wasn't and needed to be for his team. When the Knicks had to try to find ways to score in the half court, they just gave it to Brunson, and he found the matchup that he liked, and he scored straight up. And that was the difference in this game, man. I'm sorry. Like, Donovan Mitchell just could not beat people. He just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe something's going to come out that he had some kind of ailment that was stopping him. But this is a guy we've known to be getting downhill all the time. He had no shots at the basket whatsoever. Everything's a three. Everything's a pull-up jump shot. There's nothing going towards the rim. And at certain points, I'm just like, the Knicks pick-and-roll defense is shutting every single thing down at the root. What are you supposed to do in that situation with your alleged superstar franchise-level type of guy? Isolate and beat a guy. That's what Devin Booker's doing. That's what Jalen Brunson's doing. That's what Steph Curry's doing. Donovan Mitchell just couldn't do that. And so the version of this team that Rob and I thought were going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, that version had an all-star, borderline superstar level player in Donovan Mitchell, and he was anything but that in this series. And the Knicks, God bless them, man. They played their advantages. They beat these guys up at every single turn. There's nothing fluky about this series when they just killed these dudes. And we got to give it up to them for that.
Yeah, I think what's most painful about this for the Cavs is knowing that in all of these games, the Knicks didn't really take them very seriously, right? Like, and I don't mean that in the sense they didn't do their homework or like do the scout or really game plan specifically to beat the Cavs. I mean, they were not daunted at all by Cleveland's front court or really daunted by any Cavalier on the court whatsoever. They did not honor any non-shooter standing in the corner as any real threat or any kind of real spacing. It really was kind of an indictment of the Cavs' entire process that I don't think Mitchell Robinson was in foul trouble in a single game of this series, to the point that, as was outlined, I think he had the most dominant individual rebounding game in this game that I've ever seen before. 11 offensive rebounds. Just a genuinely embarrassing rebounding effort by the Cavs. Like, Jared Allen is getting thrown around like a rag doll. This is what your team is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be the size inside and the dynamic guards. And over the course of the series, both of those things broke down. And that you're gonna lose if you can't even have one of those legs to stand on.
As much as we wanted to dog the Bucks for this performance tonight, that was a dog fight, you know? They were on the beach. Yeah. They were shirtless. They were doing that thing where they're playing offense and defense at the same time, like in Top Gun.
Okay.
The Cavs were ridiculous. This was embarrassing. They did have the one win in which Mitchell was absolutely magic. But other than that, they just got their ass blown out. And I mean, we could probably talk about JB Bickerstaff's role in all of this, but the roster just was not suited to be in a series like this. They came into it with 4 quality players, and then every time they tried to go and find something else, there was nothing there. So at a certain point, you can't really blame the coaching staff when there are no adjustments to make because your roster doesn't allow for it. You know, I also have to say, like, can we put a moratorium on the Evan Mobley hype train? Like, you know how you have on your phone, you could just like block an app and it will just cut you off after 5 minutes. How many months do we want to just not talk about Evan Mobley? Like 2, 3?
Verrier with the Rob Mahoney friendly fire there.
Damn,
I don't even understand that.
I'm sitting right here. I'm sitting
It
right
be
here.
your own people, Rob.
God. Look, I mean, there's only so much you can say after the guy had, 6 points in this game?
Yeah.
Like, Evan Mobley has to find ways to be a more relevant offensive player. And honestly, it's not even just scoring, right? Part of the whole Donovan Mitchell conversation, and Woz, I know this is a pain point for you too, Donovan Mitchell's vision is not what you want in a lead guard, right? And the result of that, the Knicks trapped him, and they were right to trap him. But then the Cavs have kind of like so secondary playmaking from guys like Mobley and Allen, right? Like if he dumps the outlet pass to them, are they going to get it where it needs to go? Sometimes. And even if they do, the guy who they're passing to is some role player, a pretty spotty role player in most instances, that then has to finish those plays. So like the whole chain is broken. Bad vision into so secondary playmaking into like a 3-point shooter who can't really shoot. It's not a winnable formula. And so the fact that the Knicks created that formula, I mean, it's expert stuff. Like they managed the series perfectly. Tom Thibodeau, again, another one of the coaches who coached pretty much a perfect run here in terms of pressing all the right buttons. And moreover, this is a team that got very few good performances from Julius Randle in this series, to the point that he got benched in the fourth quarter in game 4, and he had to leave this game at halftime because he tweaked his ankle again. It looked to be in a lot of pain. We'll have to see what his availability is and how he's dealing with that. Didn't play in the second half. Didn't matter. Obi Toppin, you're starting the second half. Josh Hart, you're basically playing power forward now. And we're going to win this game. We're going to close out a really good regular season team in the Cleveland Cavaliers that was not ready for this.
Yeah. Cavs left. They had opportunities at the end there, and the Knicks just ripped it away from them. We should talk briefly, though, because it's going to be Knicks Heat in the second round. Could we just stop for a second? It's going to be the New York Knickerbockers in their first second round appearance since 2013. Their second
insanity
since Y2K. And
insanity.
The Miami Heat. But we'll see about Julius Randle. Obviously, Rob mentioned he has the ankle. We'll see if he can go in the next one. Woz, what do you think about this series? Do you think the Heat can continue rolling this success over into the next round?
Man, I think the Knicks can stop them, right? Like, unlike Milwaukee, the Knicks will play real defense. And I think they have the type of pieces that they could throw at Jimmy. It's not just big bodies, but live bodies, right? Not like, as much as we like Brook Lopez as a defender, he's a plodding sort of guy. When they change those looks up and they send Mitchell Robinson his way, this guy is light on his feet, right? So much agility. I think they're going to just do much better at guarding. Take that as you may, listener. I thought the Bucks would do a good job of guarding Jimmy Butler. But again, apparently he's the best player since Jordan. I just think it's going to be a really exciting series. The Garden, of course, they were up for this series. It's going up a level in the second round. I promise you. They're smelling the Eastern Conference. Trust me, it's already happening. They're having visions of grandeur already. And so the Garden is going to be just an incredible atmosphere. And, just before we get off of the Cavs series, it must be said, Mark Cuban stinks at his job. Like, you suck at what you do, bro.
Where are we? Oh, is this a Jalen Brunson tangent? Is that what we're doing? Okay, yeah.
Jalen Brunson. The Mavs are tweeting Kyrie highlights tonight. Are you
really?
out of your freaking mind?
Oof.
Jalen Brunson was in your building and you lowballed the hell out of him, treated him like he was some chump, and now he's in the second round and you fools couldn't even make the play-in?
Well, let me ask you a question off
Lord
that.
have mercy.
So Brunson, I feel like his risen to the level of his contract is appropriate now, especially after the series.
I mean, it's pretty great.
And the Mavs are going to pay Kyrie more.
So where is Brunson, though? Is he on perennial all-star level at this point? Is he a notch below? Is he a notch above? Like, where would you put him in just like the star satellite, I guess?
Tony Parker in his prime. Tony
Wow.
Parker. Always,
I love
always.
how you added the Knicks accent there too. The New York one came out.
Tony Parker, always knocking on the door on the All-Star team, and in the right year, he gets in. But always knocking on the door because his play is consistently excellent. And yeah, man, Brunson, ultimate team guy. That's the other part of this. It's like he's the ultimate leader team guy, and you've replaced him with Kyrie after giving up a bunch of picks for it. It's just like, this is just...
It's unreal.
It's unbelievable.
Especially what Brunson showed in this series, I think, and really all season. He's the kind of guard who you can run a ton of offense through, as we've seen. Just like creating an ISO, creating a pick and roll, every possible angle. He's going to get into the lane. He's going to pivot. He's going to create space. He's so good with the floater, with the touch. But he's also a guy who can attack really quickly off ball, right? Like if he's in the corner and he catches, he makes really fast moves. He drives into the teeth of the defense. He doesn't have to be the driving superstar all the time in ways that let Julius Randle have, maybe an all-NBA season. Like give him a lot of room to breathe over the course of the year. The fact that you're the Mavs and you give that kind of player up is, it's been litigated that it's crazy, but it's crazy. But ultimately, it's the kind of thing that gets you through a series like this one, that makes you adaptable, that makes you playoff viable. Not just to the point like, oh, is this guy an all-star? But we get in series, and this was true when he was a Maverick too, and he's a freaking punisher, right? He is hunting people down and scoring and winning games. That's a different kind of player.
And yes, and the Donovan Mitchell part, again, it needs to be mentioned. 2 years in a row, Jalen Brunson snatches this man's soul out of his heart, steps on it, and kills him, buries this dude twice. That's what's got to be a heart-aching experience for Cleveland fans. It's like, no, this guy has professional pride. I would have said coming into the season that Donovan Mitchell's, if not the best, he's the second best shooting guard in the league. And Jalen Brunson's just chumping this guy 2 playoff series in a row, both times as underdogs. Can't make this stuff up, man.
Donovan Mitchell is going to spend the whole summer looking over his shoulder, wondering if he's about to get dragged into another Jalen Brunson pick and roll. Like, please, God, keep me away from this guy.